Welcome to Infinity Capital, everyone. This is Raj. We are going to analyze Rupa and Company Limited. It's a company which makes innerwear, casual wear, thermal wear, and it's a very old company. I'm sure most of you must have heard about this company. So, market cap is around 3,300 crores. The stock is trading at a PE of 17 to 18. And if we compare it to the peers in the industry, it is trading at a relatively low PE. So we will start with the market leader, Page Industries, PE of 101. So obviously Rupa can't go to 100 PE, but if we look at the revenues have started to see an uptick. Margins have become better and profitability has also gone higher. So this is the case with all the innerwear garment companies. So let's look at Lux Industries, PE of 34. See uptick in revenues are higher, above pre-COVID levels. Actually, revenues are almost double as compared to pre-COVID. Margins have become better, and profits have come at a higher clip. Then we have Dollar Industries. So Dollar is trading at a PE of 23. Now the market cap of Dollar is less as compared to Rupa, 2600 crores. Their margins have become better too. Revenues are at a higher clip and profitability is also higher. So it is a continuing trend in the whole industry. All of them are doing well. Their margins are becoming better and profitability is rising. This is the reason why we are looking at Rupa. So why we are looking at Rupa if it's not the best company in the market? Because it's very difficult to make money out of Page Industries and other companies which are very large cap, heavily penetrated by institutions. There is no scope of making big money. Whereas if we look at Lux Industries also, so Lux Industries has already given us stellar run, and if we look at Dollar also is near its all-time high, right? So so in case of Rupa is trading at decent valuations, and price wise also it is below its all-time high, and I believe that there can be a good opportunity to make money in the stock in the short term. So I'll give you all the reasons why I'm looking at. So the first reason is industry-wide movement in revenues. So industry-wise uptake in revenues and profitability, higher margins for everybody, right? Let's look at some other information for the company. Their dividend yield is pretty good. Price to sales of 2.44, so that's pretty low. No pledge. Promoter is holding highest stake in the company, so that is good. Usually where promoters are holding the most amount of stake in the company, the chances of accounting shenanigans or any sort of malicious activity goes down, because if the valuation of the company goes down, their personal worth also goes down, so they generally don't get into such activities. Okay. Free cash flow is 10 years free cash flow is 547 crores. That's pretty impressive. Okay. Apart from that, there is no pledge, so that's also a good thing. So couple of important things that I like to look at. Dividend yield is not very important, but in terms of promoter holding, I want to see higher promoter holding, as high as it can be. Low float. There should be no pledge. If there is a pledge, then there has to be a substantial reason for the pledge. So if promoters were creating pledge last year during COVID, that's all right, because every businesses were suffering. So creating a pledge was okay. But if markets are booming and then the promoter has created a pledge, if the economy is doing great and the promoter is creating a pledge, that's a problem. That means that he cannot manage the money efficiently. Okay, all right. So if we look at the median PE for this company for the past 5 years, the median PE is around 26, and we saw that most of the peers are trading at a PE of around 24, between 24 and 35, except Page. So I'm expecting this company to get re-rated and reach a PE of around 24-25. So this is what my expectations are. Let's look at the credit rating of the company. It's an important document which gives us a lot of information about the company. So it's a 1985 company was incorporated by Agarwala Brothers. So they make knitted innerwear, casual wear, thermal wear for men, women and children. Okay, they also have a license from FC UK. I think it's a 10-year license with FC UK. They also have a license to sell Fruit of Loom, which is a USA brand, and it's a brand owned by Warren Buffett, Fruit of Loom, right? So what are the strengths of the business? It has an established market position. They have a strong brand recall, and they make their products are for all the segment: medium, premium, super premium, economy. So the Fruit of Loom and FC UK are for the premium segment, right? And then Rupa, and then there are other sub brands which are for the medium economy segment. Financials are pretty robust. They have around 308 crores of bank facilities, but they are only using 38% of that. So if you see 278 crores out of 278 crores, 38% has been used on an average in the last 12 months. So the debt metrics are pretty good. Also, if we look at the cash flows, they've generated 211 crores of cash flow last year. So that will add to the accruals and that will basically help them to do some sort of capex if they want to. So the surplus funds will be utilized to meet incremental working capital requirement or whatever capex that they want to do. All right. What are the weaknesses? Basically, it's an industry specific weakness wherein they maintain huge inventory with the distributors because there are multiple sizes. Then they supply for men, women, children, different colors. So the inventory size is huge, and that pushes the working capital cycle. So they have a cycle of around 294 days, which is pretty high, right? So this is one of the weaknesses. It's an industry specific weakness. Also, it's a very competitive industry, right? You don't need any technological supremacy to get into this industry. You buy material, you make it well, and you sell it. The quality has to be good, the pricing has to be better. That is the reason why anybody can enter in the industry. So there is no specific moat or advantage for these guys, unless and until the only advantage these companies have, operational efficiency and better inventory management and the sourcing of the material. That is the only advantage they have over each other, right? Let's go over the conference call and find out some other information. So they've generated cash flow of 211 crores, cash balance of 118 crores, which is pretty good. It will help them, to do capex or probably, marketing expenses and whatnot, right? So EBITDA margin is at 19%. Return on capital employed, ROC, is 30%. So it's gone up from 18%. Return on equity is at 26%. So these numbers are pretty good, right? So going forward, we see a CAGR of 16 to 20% for the next 3 years. Now, never take the management by what they say. So let's take it on a lighter note. Say between 12 to 15% is the kind of growth that we can see. See, what we have to understand that how the sales will increase. The sales will only increase if the population increases. It's not like the population is increasing at a very higher rate. Obviously, there are replacement sales because you buy something, it becomes old, you throw it away and you buy a new pair. But other than that, there can't be 16-20% growth in the industry, unless of course the per capita income of the whole geography is changing. That in turn may basically so the customers might buy a premium product. So that may happen, but making a blanket statement like that, I doubt if that is going to happen, right? So promoters like to say these kind of things, but anyway. So currently the company has 1200 dealers, presence of 125,000 retail outlets. So they need a very strong dealer network to sell their products. So the last year they spent around 4.2% on their brand development, and generally they spend around 6 to 7%, on brand development. So it's very important for them to do so, because in the rural areas, semi-rural, rural areas, the brand recall only happens through, branding. Like they'll get, some big movie star to basically to do the branding. They are not, these customers are not very evolved. So, they have a pretty strong recall in terms of brand, and, they associate with the with the entity, like whoever was promoting the brand. It could be anybody, like a big star. So they have exports also: Middle East, UAE, Saudi, Kuwait, Iraq, Algeria, Indonesia, right? So we'll have to find out, like what sort of. So the currently 20 crores, they they did around 20 crores from export. So it's not much. They are doing revenues of around 1300 crores. So out of that, sales of around 1300, so 20 crores is not much. So we can exclude that. What is the growth strategy? So they want to scale up the high margin revenue, which is basically the FCUK and Fruit of Loom and M series. These are the high margin. Company is present in modern trade. They have presence in over 150 stores. Is also opening EBO and currently has 11 EBO outlets. My guess is they must be starting their own outlets, or they must be doing a franchisee model. So the plan is to create small to mid-size franchisee model with best-in-class SOPs. So I know for a fact that Page has its own stores. They also sell through malls. So we'll have to read the annual report to find out what EBO is. But this is the next growth strategy. So they want to do the franchisee model in top 50 cities in India, and future plan is to roll out 150 EBO in the next 2 years. So they have only 11 EBO outlets and they want to take it to 150. That's just too grand. I don't think that is achievable in 2 years. So this will become 20 times, 15 times. 11 will become 150 in 2 years. It looks a little, it's look a little far-fetched. So that's why I said, guys, you can't take everything. What you have to take it with a pinch of salt. Promoters like to talk big. So no offense against the promoters, but that's how it is. So royalty payable. They pay royalty. FC UK, they have a 10-year contract, as I said earlier, and FC UK and FOTL front, the 33 crores revenue number. We have 33 crores on the. So both the brands got them a revenue of 33 crores. So still a very small portion of the insignificant portion of the total revenues. So export number is just 20 to 21 crores. Opportunity, look forward to grow it to 5x in 5 years. So let's see if that happens. 20 crores is not very significant as compared to the overall sales, right? So on a capex, they do around 20 to 40 crores. So they'll probably do the bottlenecking, put up some new machines, or sort of maintenance of the machine. This largely sounds like maintenance capex. Right, so I'm just showing you the highlights, guys. I've gone through the whole conference call, so I've sort of done mark the important points. So this is their EBITDA margin for forward statement. They are looking to maintain the margin at 18%, which is pretty good. So their current market share is 15 to 16%, which is also good. That is one of the strong points about the company. What else? Let's see if there are any other important stuff to read. Just a second, guys. There was something at the bottom. No. Yeah. So that's it. So we have enough information. We know that the whole industry is growing. We know for a fact that margins are becoming better for all participants. Sales are coming at a higher clip. So there is serious traction in the business, right? On a profit and loss front, the company has done highest profit ever. Last year only they did highest profits, right? This year the trailing 12-month profits are also higher. Okay, and on a quarter-on-quarter basis, sequentially the numbers were pretty robust. If you see, profits rose by almost double, and year-on-year basis the numbers were also pretty good, right? Now let's assume that the stock gets re-rated and reaches a PE of 24 to 25. So on a trailing 12-month EPS of 24 and PE of 24, we can expect the stock to reach 576. So between 580 600 is what we can look at in terms of the target in this stock, right? Let's do technical analysis on this. So basically stock got listed around 2012, post which it went up, you know, so it went from 150 to 500, then it had this massive fall. So obviously 2017, when you know we had massive rally in mid and small cap, post that the stock fell by 83%, and then it made a good comeback. Now I'd like to show you some interesting stuff over here. So just a second guys, there has been a bulk deal and a very well known entity has entered the company. So if we see Abacus, Sunil Singhania company I believe has entered in May. This is another company, GMO Emerging Markets Fund has entered, right? So if we look at the charts, this is where the buying has happened, right? So my guess is that the stock should consolidate within this level between 380 and 550. So obviously since they bought so much, the stock went up, but now it's trying to consolidate. So what is happening, basically the stock corrected, but it corrected on lower volume. If you see, the stock is coming down but the volume is relatively low, and on the up days, on the up weeks, the volume is high. So this is a pretty good setup, right? Let's look at the long-term moving averages. The blue line is the 200-day moving average, where it is resting right now. I'm guessing that the stock should consolidate over here. Mid cap small cap index, if the mid cap and small cap index don't make a new low or don't continue their downward journey, we can expect this stock to start moving up from here. 50-day moving average is in red. It is going down obviously because the stock has been trading below the 50-day moving average, but my guess is that this stock will continue to consolidate between this level, right? The stock is down around 25-26% from its recent high, and it is trading near its all-time high. So if we look at the all-time high was 600, and it is 33% below its all-time high. So what is the strategy? The strategy is pretty simple. I am looking to accumulate between these levels, between 400 and 450, and the stock is actually trading at 420. So so I will be taking a initial position in the stock in next week, a small position, and then I will scale it up, because I don't expect this stock to just start moving up very quickly. However, if in any case that starts to happen, we can build our position. So we are not a mutual fund. I'm not a mutual fund, so I can just go and buy from the open market very quickly. So in case if the stock starts trading below this level and then it continues to fall, then I will wait for it to stop falling and then start trending back up again, and that is when I will look to build my position. Currently my guess is, I'm taking a calculated bet that the fall is done and we should consolidate within 390 and 550. So what sort of targets can we expect? As we spoke earlier, so based upon current EPS of 24, and if the stock gets re-rated to 24-25 PE, we can expect around 600 and 620 levels in this stock. So a decent up move of around 40 to 50% is what I am expecting in this stock. So this was the analysis on Rupa. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Remember, this is not a buy sell recommendation, it's an educational video. Thanks a lot for watching and enjoy your weekend. Thank you.